Welcome back, horror fans, cinephiles, and Giallo enthusiasts. This is Tanner Leeser, your host for all things Giallo here on The King and Giallo, and this is another unscripted talking head movie review for the 1972 third and final Giallo film from director Luciano Ercoli, Death Walks at Midnight, also called Cry Out in Terror, something like that. So not only is this the third Giallo from Luciano Ercoli, it's the third one collaborating with writer Ernesto Gastaldi and with actors Nieves Navarro, aka Susan Scott, as well as Simón Andreu. For those who don't know, but I think most people do know, Nieves Navarro and Luciano Ercoli were dating. I think they did get married as well. But yeah, so this is the second in the Death Walks series. So I'll go into this briefly. Susan Scott plays Valentina, who is, I believe she's a model, and she agrees to participate in her friend Joe, who's a reporter, in this little like drug test experiment where she's gonna try this hallucinogen, but she's really strict, like, don't use my name, keep this mask on, and through the course of, once she starts tripping balls, he starts using her name and he takes the mask off, but she's too zonked, way too high to know what's going on. And in the course of this, it's very reefer madnessy, or like early days of the government testing LSD, where, you know, hippies were just like giggling and acting completely hysterical. He's documenting her, and she claims that through the window across the street, in the window of this other building, in an abandoned apartment, I believe, she sees a woman being murdered. And instead of them looking even for a second just at what she claims she's seeing, they just assume she's hallucinating. She says a woman is getting beaten to death with an iron glove. Well, okay, so depending if you watch the Italian language version or the English language version, you do get slight variations. In the Italian, it says it's an iron glove with spikes, I believe. When she sobers up, she's adamant about this. Oh, also she loses her job because the newspaper posted about it, and she's very upset. She tries to prove that she saw someone being murdered, but nobody believes her. It turns out that there was someone who was murdered in that building, I believe, but it was like 6 months ago. And so now it's like, did you somehow witness this murder 6 months back, but you had buried it in your subconscious? But she keeps seeing the killer, and so she believes that they're not the same thing. And then also when we go into, she meets with like the mother of the girl who was previously murdered way back when, and she denies, like, no, that's not your daughter is not the person I saw being killed. And then they go to the insane asylum to see the guy who was caught and institutionalized for her daughter's murder, and she's like, no, that's not the killer that I saw. So it seems from an audience perspective, and even from someone within the world, it should be pretty obvious that these must be separate cases, but nobody believes her, conveniently for the plot, in order for everything to happen. And they all assume that she really just hallucinated this, or that she's stupid. It's funny because in the English version, there's a couple times where I don't remember if it was her boyfriend Stefano or if it was Joe, but there's a few times where they're just like, they call her stupid. And it's not what they say in the Italian, but it's so funny because it's just so blatantly rude. But that's the movie. And then as it goes along, there is a drug conspiracy plot. You are introduced to all these other characters who, by the end, play a part in the greater story. So yeah, I will say that when I did watch this, I watched this for the first time a few years back. I watched it, I think I had watched Death Walks on High Heels, and then I watched Death Walks at Midnight, and I remembered liking Death Walks on High Heels way more. Like, I actually kind of remembered the plot, so when I rewatched it, last year, I was very familiar with it. I was like, yeah, okay, oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, this is okay, yeah. Death Walks at Midnight, there were like pieces I remembered. I remembered the killer. I remembered the ending because there's like the worst body falling off of a rooftop scene. And beyond that, I didn't really remember a whole lot. So I was eager to rewatch it because I was assuming, I'm probably going to like it more. And a lot of people really like this movie. A lot of people in the comments really like Death Walks at Midnight. And it seems to be the consensus that Death Walks at Midnight is Ercoli's best giallo. Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion, I think is fine. It's just not really my speed for a giallo, but it's not bad. And for what it does, it's pretty damn good. Death Walks on High Heels, I just remembered really digging it, and being set in the English countryside, having this subplot about a jewel heist. I don't know, it made it very unique, I thought. So I rewatched this in English on the TV, and I was kind of having a difficult time. I always kind of find myself around the halfway mark of this movie checking out. And then I rewatched it with the English version, which is widescreen, along with the Italian version, which is full frame, and the Italian one is a little bit longer. And so I started them at the same time, and they were like literally going at the same time. And the moment one of them started to lag behind, I paused the other one until they both caught up. And so I was able to pinpoint little differences. And so for the most part, the English one streamlines scenes. It might like cut off a second here, cut off a second there, things like that. But the Italian version is longer because there's a scene where they go to an insane asylum to meet the killer from 6 months ago, and there's like a crazy person in the insane asylum who's like tap dancing or something, and you get like an extra minute of him dancing. It doesn't really add anything. I'll say that. Like, I do actually prefer the longer version of Deep Red versus the US cut, which I think is like, I want to say it's like 20 minutes shorter. Maybe it's not that bad. But I do prefer the longer version of Deep Red. It was just the way I saw it first. And so when I watched the US cut, I'm like, oh, I want to see the part where the guy's making the espresso or he's steaming milk. And there's little things that I remember that it's like, oh, I actually do enjoy that. It not that it's nostalgic, it's part of the charm. This one, you don't really need that extra bit of dancing in the insane asylum. It doesn't really add anything. It's just such a little bit of a waste of time. So I get why they cut it for the US. But, and this is I think the big difference. The Italian version has an even longer explanation at the end of what's going on. It's like, again, it's like another minute or so, and then in the finale there's just like minutes more in the Italian version. This leads into what I wanted to say about this movie. Okay, so hold that thought as I say this, and I'm going to if I catch flack, I catch flack. It's just my opinion. I don't really like Death Walks at Midnight. I don't know why. Everybody seems to think it's Ercoli's best giallo. I am kind of the opinion that Ercoli is fine. Everybody acts like he made more giallo films. You know, like when you look him up on Wikipedia, it says he's a giallo director who made several giallo films. It's like he made 3. And it's like, I'm pretty sure if you go through the filmography, it's not even like, well, you could maybe call that one a giallo. Well, that one's kind of giallo adjacent. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's just Forbidden Photos, High Heels, and Midnight. And I like Death Walks on High Heels. I think Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion is good. I don't know why I just can't get into Death Walks at Midnight. I like the cast. It's another giallo with Carlo Gentili, and I do like Carlo Gentili. He's I think he's a set dresser or a costume dresser. So it's really cool to see him acting as well. And he's the inspector in Death Walks on High Heels, and I think he does a great job. He's also in I think the Night of the Scorpion. He's in a few giallo films, and I like him. There's a lot of familiar faces: Luciano Rossi, Fabrizio Moresco, Ivano, Staccioli, and this is kind of my thing with the movie. So first and foremost, the only thing that I really remember about this movie is the killer, is the aesthetic of the killer with like the weird hair, the sunglasses, and the gauntlet, and them like beating people. That's kind of it for me. If you took that out of this movie, I really would not get it. I wouldn't get what the hype is, because I love Ernesto Gastaldi, but my God, he loves to write overly convoluted endings. He loves to basically inform you in the final 10 minutes of everything you could not have possibly known as an audience member. And I don't like that. He's still a great writer. For a reveal, you kind of just need to inform the audience of like a couple things. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Once it's like a full-on paragraph of this is what happened, and then this happened, and then I talked to this person, and I got this person to kill this person, and da-da-da-da. It's like, no wonder I couldn't fucking follow this movie. And I timed it. The explanation of like, and by the way, the mastermind, or the person you find out is untrustworthy in the end, is kind of obvious. It's like, you could guess it's between 1 and like 2 people, maybe 1 and 3 people. It's very obvious that it is this person. I don't know why, at least it was for me. A lot of times I get blindsided by things like that, like, oh, whoa, I did not see that one coming. This one, I'm like, yeah, they kind of suggested that earlier on a few times. But when this person starts explaining everything, I timed it. And there are parts where it interrupts it to show like what's going on somewhere else with the inspector. But it is between 2 and 3 minutes. Even the short end of that, 2 minutes of explaining what happens. Like, I'm literally thinking about when I write the Jolly Tally, that's going to be a fucking pain in the ass. Because when I have to just like write out a big chunk of exposition, it's like I already am playing the clips at like, 150% speed. When it's something like that, I have to play the clips at like 50% or 30%. I have to play them slower, so I'm at least able to say everything without, I don't know. It's a whole process that how I edit with it. I can't just play the clips at normal speed because they would be zooming past how fast I can talk. But 2 minutes of explanation of what was going on. And for some people, they're like, oh, whoa, what a great reveal. And it's like, really? Is it really a great reveal? To each their own, but I just think it's so contrived. And that's just me. And no disrespect if you enjoy Death Walks at Midnight. It's not bad. And that's the thing, is I do acknowledge that it is a good giallo. It's just not one that I can get into. I prefer Death Walks on High Heels. I would watch Death Walks on High Heels like any day of the week over Death Walks at Midnight. Same for Forbidden Photos. I don't know why I just can't get into it. And then watching in English, a lot of the times the English dub is just so hokey. And Nieves Navarro, Susan Scott, her English track, especially in the first like 20 minutes, is really bad. Like when she gets fired from her job, she gets fired because, a big story came out in the newspapers with her picture and her name basically showing that, oh, she tried this new LSD type drug. And her job is like, yeah, we can't have that. That's bad. That's bad publicity. You're fired. And in the Italian, she comes out like cursing Joe because, she told him not to do that. And she's like, that bastard, I bastard, I'm going to kill him. In the English one, she comes out and she's mad at the people on the board who fired her. She's like, I should have smacked them, or I should have given them hell. She says something about that where it's just, and the way that she's like, it's just really bad. Also, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff in the English one that characters are too just like, or they are, there's instances of, there's a part where they see Valentina, Susan Scott's character, sees a guy with a dead cat, and she calls this person over, and she's like, I saw a man, he was over there, he had a dead cat. And she's like, what? Well, don't worry about that, it's not important. And it's like, okay, so unless you're involved, I hate when characters do that. Or when she's trying to explain herself, like, this guy tried to attack me, he tried to break in, and she's telling this to Stefano, and she's like, didn't you see anybody? And he's like, what? There's nobody here. What are you talking about? And she's like, well, somebody was like breaking down the door. And he makes a comment about the door, like, oh, that used to be such a nice door or something. And it's like, why are you just blowing her off? I don't like that in a giallo movie where someone has like conviction of something and everyone else is like, oh, well, you're just a crazy woman. And in this movie, it's like, and the inspector is like, all right, lady, I want to know why you're telling all these lies. What? It's like, obviously she's not lying. Or it's like, maybe she is crazy, but she's got nothing to prove lying. I don't know. So I find the movie a little frustrating. And I rewatched the movie like 3 times in the last less than 48 hours, like 24 plus hours. I always start checking out in like the halfway point or 2/3 in. And I literally, like, today watched it, came home, rewatched it from the middle, kept rewinding from like back and kept rewinding back, because there's just a certain point where I just lose interest. I'm so sorry, but that's my take. So you can probably not count on this one appearing in my top 10 for 1972. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll throw it in there because of its legacy. I might do that, but I don't think this is like top 10 of 1972. And so many people are gonna hate me for that, but dude, what do you want from me? That's my opinion. I'm not trying to be like, oh, this will be a hot take. I just have never been able to get into this movie. Anyways, I think that's it. I think that's all I've got to say. I think the person falling off the roof is hysterical because it's so bad. It's so clear that it's like a fake body that like falls like 15, 20 feet off frame. And then when the camera pans down, the person's lying right there. You're like, okay, well, the body went over there. And I guess, oh, I know he landed right here. What else can I say about this movie? Performances. Luciano Rossi. People are like, oh, he's so good as the crazy, giggling drug dealer guy. I think he's fucking annoying. Again, I'm watching it in English, and it's just like... I don't like it. I've heard him kind of be compared to Klaus Kinski, and I'm like, really? The other performances are fine. Like I said, Nieves Navarro is a little over the top. There's also a scene where she's supposed to be drunk, and it's a little hammy. Honestly, other than that, the music is fine. The music is good, but I don't really notice anything outside of the theme. Like, even rewatching it numerous times, I'm like, oh my gosh, none of the music jumps out to me except the theme. Try playing this song for me in like a year or two and see if I go, that's Death Walks at Midnight. But beyond that, it's still got great people who worked on it. Mahnahén Velasco, Sergio Corbucci was also came up with the story, which that's really cool. But yeah, that's my hot take, y'all, is that I just am not a big fan of this movie, and I'm sorry if that bums you. But let me know. This will be coming up, so give me what you think the AZ, how many AZs there will be, what the final Jolly Tally score will be, and let me know your thoughts are for this movie, because I actually really do enjoy when I don't like a Giallo all that much, and someone comes in, they're like, I really appreciate the movie for this, and this relationship, and this aspect, and yada, yada, yada. And then I'm like, you know what? You're right. Maybe it's because of the way I am when I'm watching it. I'm tuning out, and I'm not able to take in all this stuff. The times when I actually really take in the movie is when I'm writing the Jolly Tally script, because I'm literally going beat by beat, watching it, pausing it, writing, rewinding, playing, pausing it, writing. I'm going line by line. And yeah. Oh, the thing I wanted to recall, the Italian reveal is like I said, like a minute longer, and I wasn't really able to read all of it, or like I'm like watching it. I already remembered the reveal was just so much. I'm like, okay, so this person knew this person who knew this person, and they were selling drugs, and then this person got involved, and so then this person got this other person to kill this person, and then this person got arrested, and then this person. It's so fucking like, ugh. And the Italian one had even more explanation, and I'm like yes, but also it's too long already. So give me your thoughts. Sorry, I just recalled that. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think about Death Walks at Midnight. I imagine that probably 75% of you at least are going to be more on the positive side. Maybe not, but I believe so. And beyond that, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. Sorry for taking up so much of your time. Bet you're here, right? But anyways, yeah, this is Tanner Leeser for The King and Giallo, and if nothing else, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.
And want me to believe you're in danger. There's not much to go on.
Maybe that's enough if I get myself murdered.
Ah, that little bitch.